and welcome back to our review show. As always, I'm your host, Daniel, with my father and co host, Jerry. Say hi, Dad.
Hello.
We're going to do The Little Things this time, a movie we actually saw quite a bit ago, but I've been busy, so we haven't done one in a while. Uh, this movie's obviously a throwback to the 90s, like serial killer films and stuff, and it did aspects of that well, but it wasn't good. uh, it failed at like a lot of the basic stuff. Like you never, other than the opening scene, really, you never felt like there was any threat throughout the whole movie. Um, obviously, like in Silence of the Lambs, how they have the girl in the hole. Red Dragon, they have he kills on the moon phase. Seven, you have the guy doing the seven murders. This one, the guy just kind of killed randomly that they were tracking down. Uh, and like a lot of things said it felt like a movie that should have been made 30 years ago, and I found out it was wrote sometime in the 90s originally, which I still don't think it would have been good even for back then because it just doesn't. I don't know. It's kind of hard to like talk about really without talking about like the ending. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Um, and like the problem with that is because like it kind of pulls out, oh, that you thought this was blank movie and it's actually a blank. But like they had like I don't know. There's just like a bunch of stupid things that go on in it. Um, there's some like good scenes and stuff, and the acting's great. Like obviously Denzel, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto do a good job. They're all good actors. They've all won Academy Awards and deserve them for their roles for the most part. Well, I think all of them did actually that the year they came out, but like they don't use them well.
No. Well, you think that it's a detective story.
Yeah.
You know, you've got a killing at the beginning.
Well,
There's a
he like
serial.
I think the girl, if I remember right, the girl gets away.
Yeah.
I think that one, and they have one that he kills later on.
Yeah.
Uh, at least we think he does. They never find the body,
Yeah.
which is fine. Yeah, and like I said, I talked about it. Like it starts off as one thing and becomes another, and you think it's supposed to be a detective story, and it is a detective story for 2/3 of the movie, at least.
Yeah.
Two
But
thirds
they
to
don't detect anything.
I mean, yeah, and I mean that's the big problem. They never, um, and I guess we have to like spoil like the ending because we have to kind of use it to talk through the rest of the movie. Is like they have this whole thing like Denzel blew himself out on a case and whatever. He had a heart attack while searching for some guy that killed three women. Originally, it shows in some weird ritualistic murder, and he thinks this guy for some reason is the same guy that's doing these killings, even though they're completely different styles and everything. Um, and they do bring that up at some point, but he kind of convinces even Rami Malek that it's the same guy who's the current detective on the case. And like the whole point and the big twist is uh, that Denzel, there was another girl that was somehow out there and escaped them or whatever, and for some reason all the other girls are naked and she's clothed and she's just running in the woods, and he shoots her, and which coincides with Jared Leto and Rami Malek, who Jared Leto's kind of this guy who they, for really no good reason, think is the killer.
Yeah.
I mean, he does like some of the things like he fits like certain things the MO, but he's mostly just like seems to be a guy that more wants to mess with the police. And like they have him like, oh, he confessed to some murder where he's clearly out of town on and everything. And he drives Rami Malek insane relatively quickly,
Yeah.
and Rami Malek kills him.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, the little things will get you, blah blah blah. Which before they talked about how the little things they'll use to catch the killer, and it like which is fine as a red herring and some stuff, but like they keep going over like okay, like he clearly has a thing for like I think it was roast beef
Yeah.
and a certain type of beer.
Yeah.
Um,
And there's some religious play in the movie,
yeah,
but you never find out what that is.
yeah. There's nothing like it seems like they set up these things and it seems like the guy was setting up for a serial killer movie and everything and mystery and stuff. and decided we're gonna have this big twist at the end that throws the entire movie off.
Yeah.
Like, um,
But they never conclude anything as to
yeah,
the crime.
yeah,
You
they
know,
never
they say
conclude anything
this
as to
guy.
either of the crimes.
Yeah.
Like, in something like, they never like they have this one guy who they question and then just kills himself.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly. Like he like got for exposure for like peeing outside or something,
Yeah.
and like so they bring him in and which admittingly the cops might do, but like and there's some other crime that the guy thinks he might have done, but then he just kills himself.
Yeah.
It didn't really make any sense. Um, like it, there was
And I mean, first of all, you think the little things, so there's going to be some little thing that sort of drives the movie,
yeah,
but nothing, none of the evidence drives the movie.
yeah. It's not like
It's a big thing. He kills a guy at the end.
yeah,
I
he
mean,
kills a guy,
yeah,
and like I said, like both of the reasons they killed the people were stupid.
yeah,
Like Denzel's, I mentioned this before, is like they find these three women tied
yeah,
up dead, naked,
yeah,
and like he hears something going on in the woods. He draws his gun, and he shoots. Eventually, he hears something. And he just shoots, and it turns out to be another one of the women. That
yeah,
for some reason though, this one's fully clothed and stuff, and she's not gagged or anything, so she could have yelled out for help.
yeah,
It's not like this was something like they were still in like some house or something, and for some reason Rami Malek digs 1,000 holes for Jared Leto, where he says he hid one of the bodies,
yeah,
and it's not like Denzel's you actually get like would kind of drive him nuts and stuff over time,
yeah,
but Rami Malek, this thing happens like he goes from being like a normal case that he's somewhat obsessed to crazy in like 2 days.
yeah.
Um,
And the I mean, we get somewhat of Denzel's story,
yeah,
and but there is no investigation in this movie. You know, they got the stuff up on the board, but nobody ever talks about
yeah.
it.
Like I said, I found like the way he found Jared Leto,
Yeah,
like okay, he did something, but like of all the people in there, it just seemed like he would like of the people in the like him looking at like, hey, we have these
yeah,
like handyman men that they called or
yeah,
whatever. Okay, that's fine. That's like normal police work and stuff. I feel like that probably would have been done before that. But like I never got a feeling of why they singled out this guy randomly.
yeah,
And I never found that was any good. And obviously he just happens so to be like essentially a crime aficionado and stuff. He already confessed to a case and like and like you could have had something you could have done something kind of neat with it, like they have the like kind of because obviously you had like the new like things with the modus operandi and stuff coming in at the 90s with these
yeah,
serial killers. You had Mindhunter released, you had
yeah,
the FBI, how they kind of investigated this stuff and how that has changed uh, dramatically in the past 10 years and stuff because of that, and how they work uh, and like they even bring up like oh the one Denzel had in the one this new serial killer is doing are totally different,
yeah,
but they're like but then they just kind of forget about that,
yeah.
and they have him like and like it could be interesting that like Denzel still thinks it's this one guy for some reason and the other guy's completely against it.
Well, that's it. You see the two people that are really mad at Denzel because they actually helped him cover up his shooting.
Yeah,
But you don't know that to the end of the movie, and the movie isn't about Denzel.
yeah, it's about Rami Malek.
Yeah, and I mean, Denzel is just sort of the guy. You know, it has some black play, but Denzel doesn't do anything in the movie. He doesn't solve the crime. He does break into the guy's house,
Yeah,
so which they find nothing.
yeah, they find like he has this thing, and he's like, well, if you gave me 5 more minutes, which the whole way they broke into the guy's house, and I know I've talked to you about this. I'm like, why the hell didn't Rami Malek just meet him in the bar?
Yeah,
That way he could have held him there for. He could have easily held that guy, like from what we've seen of the guy before, like how he
yeah,
likes the crimes and we've talked about it and stuff. He'd have easily held him there for hours
yeah,
and hours, so they would have searched. But no, they just call, and then he has him out there as a lookout or something.
yeah,
When like first off, they easily could have got a third person for that.
Yeah.
There's other people that would have helped them and stuff. Like, um, in it, and that would have made sense. Like, and then like obviously that leads to Rami Malek meeting Jared Leto and then them driving off in his car. Um, Jared Leto's car to go and like because he says he's going to show him where he buried the body,
Yeah.
which nobody would ever do that.
Yes.
Like I don't
Well,
care.
certainly they wouldn't have dug a bunch of holes.
Yeah, and then he leads him to like this field that doesn't look like there's been any holes, and he points like to his spine. He's like, "Well, the body's there,"
Yeah.
and like I can see maybe digging one or two of the holes,
Yeah.
but when they show it, like first off, like how many hours have had to have passed
Yeah.
for him to dig that many holes and that deep?
Yeah.
Um,
And
on
why
that.
did he dig them?
Yeah. Why did?
I mean,
Well, I think he tries to get Jared Leto to dig them at one point, and Jared Leto refuses.
yeah.
Um, but and like I said, this is like the case had been going on
Mhm.
before this, but this
Yeah.
is like maybe 2 or 3 days after Denzel
Yeah.
came in, and I guess they did get another. He did probably kill again while that happened.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know. I don't even want to say the serial killer killed again because because it could have just been some rant because
Yeah.
you never see. It could have been anything. Like it shows like the girl being stalked or anything, but
Yeah.
the cops don't have any evidence that it was him.
Yeah.
Like there is no leads whatsoever that would have been him and that girl compared to like it was a random mugging or anything else, or just a disappearance. I don't because I mean I don't think um I mean the movie it shows like probably the guy stalking her because we see the car and we see his boots and stuff. Well, I don't think
Yeah.
we see his boots that time. The first time they show him, they just kind of show his fancy boots
Yeah.
and stuff, which again is another red herring.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's all red herrings in the end. They never did anything or got any clues or even came closer. And it just kind of ends with Rami Malek killing the guy, the FBI taking over the case, and Denzel essentially tricking Rami Malek into thinking he actually got the guy.
Yeah.
Um, and talking about how the little things will drive him crazy with this.
Yeah.
But he's already been drove crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I don't see why he would have been pushed so far so quickly. Like, it wasn't the killer was messing with him. It wasn't. It wasn't like. It wasn't like the Killing Joke where the Joker tries to drive Commissioner Gordon insane in one day by doing all these horrible things. It just kind of happens, and it happens quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, it even goes from him like not really caring that the parents of the missing girl showed up to him being obsessed with this missing girl.
Yeah.
Like I said, and like throughout the whole time, it's like they know this guy messes with the police. It's like they call him in for investigation. He has like a unusual reaction to the crime scene photos and stuff. But we knew he was a crime buff before that because he talked about it, and during the interview. And they're like, "Oh, he's enjoying it. He's enjoying it."
Yeah.
But then you find out like, oh, he's called in to confess to a murder, other murders before,
Yeah.
and stuff. But they still are obsessed with him.
Yes.
They don't like. It's like he likes messing with the police. He likes screwing around. He clearly likes manipulating and messing with you. I just don't like. It just didn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, the question is, if you're going to tell a story about Denzel Washington and he shot this girl again, now he's getting obsessed with this new case, not knowing whether it's the right guy or wrong guy, that's one thing, but they never told that.
Yeah.
Or you could have told the story of the investigation of the thing. They never did that. Or you could have a story about Rami Malek going crazy with this one guy who keeps leading him around and around, and all of a sudden does kill him.
Yeah.
I mean, but they didn't really do that. I mean,
Mhm.
Randy Mailer went crazy within 5 minutes.
Yeah, he went crazy within like 2 days.
Yeah.
Uh, because he might have been a bit stressed from this before,
Mhm.
but it was like in 2 days he went from not knowing who it was to this guy to knowing it was this guy to
Yeah.
like breaking the law to um and to just bizarrely obsessed
Yeah.
and like thinking like even he did the other one Denzel talked about and
Yeah.
whatnot, and like I said, it just didn't make.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had the three stories, and like there's some like it actually like went pretty like dark and nasty with some of the serial killer stuff. It was very much like a '90s one in that, which I liked.
Yeah.
You had this thing where like you kind of got like at first it started off like they were actually pretty good detectives because he's like asking everything like, hey, what did this guy eat? What did this guy
Yeah.
like because they found like, oh, he returned to the scene of the crime and he clearly ate something and he fed the girl and like like the girl was vegetarian or vegan or something.
Yeah.
Uh, and like he fed her roast beef for some reason.
Yeah.
And so you had that going on. So you had like this, and like I think roast beef like showed up and like, but I mean the thing was everything with the mystery was just red herrings.
Yeah. There
You,
wasn't in a good mystery show. The public takes part in
yeah,
trying to figure out the movie, and what you like is the twist that you
yeah,
don't figure it out.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, somewhat. You like to go through and think like the people and try
yeah.
to get in their mode, but this didn't happen. I
No,
mean, they there was just no mystery.
yeah. There was no mystery. There was no real like manhunt. There was no like, and like we said, we it had the problem of there was no like ticking clock
Yeah, no.
in it because the guy just kind of kills randomly. Um, he just kind of seems to find out and like hunt them and stuff, but it doesn't like he just does it randomly and like yeah, there's gonna be another one, but we don't know. That could be today. That could be tomorrow. That could be 20 years from now.
Yeah,
Um, and like I said, like they did do some stuff I liked, which I thought could have been interesting in a better movie, like how they have the one witness that well the girl that got away from the who they think is the serial killer at least,
yeah,
and they kind of like she has to go to the bathroom, so they screw up so she sees Jared Leto come in,
yeah,
so like she can't really ID him.
yeah,
And I thought that was like kind of a, I thought that was kind of, or do in a lineup, which I know lineups aren't very useful usually, but um, which like I thought that was a clever thing on it. And like you have them screw up this lineup so they can't get a warrant or something, or um, but
and
again,
yeah,
it led nowhere.
you not know about.
Well, I
I
guess they
mean,
couldn't find his box of stuff, but without
well,
breaking in.
they broke into the house. They found some stuff, but they never told all that stuff related to the murder.
I think it was just like newspaper clippings and stuff
Yeah,
of them,
it was
which
newspaper clippings of the different murders.
yeah, I think he might have found the same beer too that was
Yeah,
found at like the crime scene or whatever.
yeah,
Um, which again, nice circumstantial evidence, nice stuff. He might like he could have like I don't know if they should I can't remember if they should have like finding like roast beef in his refrigerator or something
yeah,
or but it didn't like again it led nowhere. That's the problem of the stories either like just come out of nowhere and don't
yeah,
lead anywhere, or just come out of nowhere at the end.
yeah,
Um, and uh, like I said, it starts going like, and when the FBI comes over, it says some stuff like, "Oh, this guy fit the bill," and other things like, "Oh, he didn't," and like you're never really left knowing if Jared Leto actually did it or not. I don't think, but I kind of think they more hint towards that he didn't.
yeah,
But the problem is like they never found anything on him. They
yeah,
never had any clues on him. He just was a guy that liked to screw with the cops
yeah,
for the most part. Like he had some vague, very vague connection, and he liked messing with them.
yeah,
That's it. Um, and like you had and it just didn't make much sense on it.
And it's interesting. I was reading through some of the
Hmm.
reviews of the movie, and the one guy in the review sort of compares it to Seven.
Yeah,
And I thought that, I mean, in Seven, you see the detective doing the detective work.
yeah. I mean, that's a part of Seven, but also the part is like Seven's also very much like the guy's screwing with them.
Yeah,
The key thing to Seven is he's screwing with them, but they're looking for him and they're trying to like in Seven he's intentionally provoking the guys,
yeah,
uh, and stuff, and like he gets caught when he wants to get caught in Seven.
yeah,
And like I mean, obviously the whole thing of like he killed Brad Pitt's wife,
yeah,
but that makes sense that that would drive Brad Pitt over the wall.
yeah,
Like you have a guy sitting there that's messed with you for a while, kills your what? You don't know that he actually kills your wife and puts her head in a box and
yeah,
gives it to you.
yes. I mean, it wasn't anything like Seven. I
No,
did.
it felt like it wanted to be like Seven,
Yeah,
but like Seven's the whole point of Seven was it was leading to that moment,
right.
leading
And
to that like
everything, there were the seven deadly sins. They figured it out, and they tried to figure out how those would lead to the next murder.
mhm.
And it was actually a detective story
Yeah,
that, and it was a story about a really, you know, serial killer who was crazy,
mhm.
and it, I don't know. And the thing that just gets me is the little things, is
Yeah,
what the movie is called. But actually, the movie is about a big thing.
yeah,
You have two cops that kills individuals that are innocent, or maybe innocent at least.
mhm.
Yeah, you get the opinion that they are innocent.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said,
Yeah,
I guess the girl's supposed to be probably almost certainly is.
yeah,
I don't know. I guess she could have been the one that did it and just kind of running.
yeah,
But like I said, I know a bunch of problems with that one. Probably, like my problem with like the Jared Leto one is it was just stupid. Like
yeah,
nobody's gonna for like okay, the digging 30 holes could have been symbolism,
yeah.
but he dug like first off, nobody's gonna probably dig the first hole.
Mhm.
Like he's gonna show you the spot, and then you're gonna get a crime scene in there.
Yeah. That's
Um,
exactly. He's gonna call for the crime scene and see if it is the spot.
yeah. Or like a dog or something, and like obviously like how Denzel found him was kind of stupid too.
Yeah.
Eventually, because he leaves without him, and Denzel like kind of tracks him down in the car or whatever. But
That was the only detective work.
yeah, uh, and it was just like, but like I said, you might at most dig one or two holes,
Yeah.
and maybe if he said, oh well, maybe if he like looked more like paste stuff out and stuff or
Yeah.
something, like found a rock and walked a few paces from it,
Yeah.
and been like, oh, it was here or blah blah
Yeah.
blah. Um, but like I said, one of my problems is like, but in like with like the Zenzel one, it's like she would have known it was the cops
Yeah.
that showed up, the girl that he shot. Like I get she could have been panicked or stressed or like all sorts
Yeah.
of things after what happened, but like you would have known it was they weren't quiet or anything,
Yeah.
and she's just like running randomly through the woods when there's like an obvious trail out there and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. It just didn't.
yeah,
It. It had all this good acting,
no, like the
but
people,
no
like
story.
yeah,
I
like I said,
mean,
the people in it were like really good, and they just weren't given anything,
yeah.
or what they were
Denzel,
given was stupid.
Denzel's story didn't go anywhere. They just told us the backstory
Yeah,
of Denzel. It didn't go forward.
yeah,
Rami Malek's story was over in 10 minutes of filming. He dug
yeah,
all these holes and killed the guy. He
yeah,
got mad and killed the guy. Uh, and nobody found the serial killer. They didn't
hmm
have any evidence. And what was the whole plot about the religion? The two main people who were mad at Denzel found religion.
hmm
And I mean, there were several clues in the movie that led to religion, but that was just a red herring.
yeah. Like I said, well, all the clues were red herrings.
Yeah.
Um, for the most part,
Hmm.
or something, and like you could have like done a lot, like how cops get obsessed with one person, then ignore everything else.
Yeah.
Like have somebody who easily could also be doing it, but they're just obsessed with one.
Yeah.
You could have done that. You could have there was just like there was a lot of actually pretty decent ideas in it. Like I
Yeah.
like the idea of getting like it's not a good thing to get obsessed with the case.
Right.
You lose like you get obsessed with the case and then you cling on to things that might not matter
Yeah.
and then you like get people who you really think did it
Yeah.
on it.
And
I
that could have been the story. That could have
yeah
been the story of either Denzel or of Rodney Malik or both of them together in the movie. But
yeah.
it just wasn't. Yeah.
Well, like you could have had that or like something, and then like them pursuing this guy, and then you could have like had like they had the FBI coming in, but you could have had like the FBI in a bit earlier or something,
Yeah.
or some other cop also working the case, and they're the one because they're like because they just go by the evidence and look at it or again or
Yeah.
something. It just like
Just well, first of all, the thing that Denzel did, he made a mistake.
yeah
It wasn't a mistake that was made logically or
yeah it
I
wasn't
mean,
like it was something that like he
he
found
got
like three
obsessed with the
people
case and got too much turned on. And they could have ran a good story on that, but
yeah
they didn't.
yeah
Or they could have told that as a backstory where Denzel was trying to keep
mhm,
Randy Malik from doing that, but he
yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, well, I think the thing is also like they were showing like, oh, it was this big cover up after he shot the person and stuff. I'm like, there's no way any cops would need a cover up there, and there
Well, it
was
was
no
a
way
cover
that
up. I mean, yeah, yeah,
yeah, and there's no way that was like the biggest cover up a cop in L.A. would have been on for a police officer shooting,
yeah, yeah.
uh, and stuff. It just didn't like and
Mhm.
stuff, and they're like, oh, we did all this, and I'm like, you're a cop in like what Compton, L.A.
Yeah,
Like I don't know, it wasn't Compton, but
yeah,
It was, it was. I think it was in L.A., right?
yeah,
Yeah, it was. Um, you're a cop there. There's the LAPD are notoriously corrupt.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, we had the OJ case
you,
where
you know,
he actually got
JKs. You had
off because
Rodney
of,
King. You have.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, you're a black cop there.
yeah,
It's they're guaranteed there are worse shootings than yours. That they walk from, and like they're like all the like making it out to be this big deal. But like, and I don't even think like if they didn't make it out to be a big deal in like the court of law, like he just saw three people like strung up, like
yeah,
ritual sacrifice. There's something running on the woods. If I remember, he shouts.
yeah,
That I could be wrong there, but of course you're gonna shoot at it.
yeah,
Uh, I, like I said, it that was just like to me like really bizarre. It was like that one we saw like Let Him Go or whatever it was, in which the cop didn't help the other cop, and like in which they were like, "Oh, you guys did wrong" to another police officer, and we were like, "That would never happen." Uh,
yeah,
it just like I don't know. It seems it almost seems like there's three different screenplays. One about
yeah,
Denzel, one about Rami Malek, and one about serial killer movie.
yeah. Mhm.
And they just kind of took parts from all of them.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
because like it kind of looks like it might be something on Denzel's redemption for a bit, or like it just like it's, I don't know because it also never seemed like it said like getting obsessed with the case was bad, really.
yeah,
Uh, or like didn't even seem like what it said what Rami Malek did was bad, which was hit the guy in the head with a shovel.
yeah.
But I don't know it. And again, all this is happening like he digs like these holes that would probably take an hour apiece,
Yeah.
and he digs like 30 of them like at like 2 a.m. in the morning, and it's still dark out, and it's only light when he finishes. After
Mhm.
Denzel goes and disposes like of a bunch of evidence and
Yeah.
stuff. Like the whole timeline there was screwed up.
Yeah.
Uh, so I don't know. There's just like nothing about this movie that like not even like an individual scene that I think would be worth watching.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, there are parts of it where I thought it might make a good movie, but it never went anywhere or interesting or like the whole thing where they have an entire scene where they investigate one of the people this killer did in their house. Like he
Yeah.
killed her in her house, but the other people he's like abducting and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, and even like I've read Mindhunter.
Yeah.
Even I'm like that would probably be two different types of serial killers.
Hmm.
Like they usually like if they're like picking people off the road aren't breaking and entering on it and are like there's the methodical and not methodical and there's a bunch of different there's two or three different
Yeah.
characteristics, but I don't know, I just felt that was weird.
Yeah.
um and like they do this whole thing where they look over the crime scene, they show like, oh, he was watching and stalking them for a few
Yeah.
days, but all the other ones he just picks up in his car, so they weren't even really consistent with what that killer was.
Yeah.
Like I actually fully believe that their intent with the killer it was that he was also the one that Denzel had.
Yeah.
Uh, which again just kind of shows like how if you're gonna make a like you can make a movie about an astronaut, but do your research.
Yeah.
You don't have to be one. You don't have to be, but do your research on this stuff. Do your research on the psychology of serial killers.
Yeah.
On it. Do your research on how drug lords work. Because like having a few things that are minor is fine, but having things that aren't and are like if anybody knows anything and really stands out,
Yeah.
it just stands out. Uh, and it bothers people. Like, and I'm not talking about like how it's like, oh, a spaceship, or a rocket ship can't take off another rocket ship in space like they do with Star Wars. It's like, that's way into the future and whatever. It's
Yeah.
suspension of disbelief, but like common things and things that like you should know if you want to make something in a genre or of a time that you should know.
Yeah.
And that's like, and if you're gonna make something about a serial killer, read Mindhunter.
Yeah.
Know how they are supposed to operate. Know how they're, know how, like at the time in the '90s, know how the police department would have tracked them down or something. Well, if you're gonna have a mystery movie, have a mystery.
Yeah.
But have it go somewhere is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. So it's just kind of a frustrating sit.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. Is there any other like big pieces that were missing to this one, or
No, I don't believe so. There wasn't any big I
yeah?
mean,
Well, I guess there wasn't any big pieces, but like things that didn't go anywhere, or
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was just a waste of three great actors.
Yeah.
So apparently Jared Leto got a Golden Globe nomination for this role for some reason. I don't know. It's apparently
I.
not the worst one either. So
Mhm.
uh, I don't know. I can't recommend this one at all. Uh, just watch like Silence of the Lambs, Manhunt, Seven. Uh, hell, even Hannibal, which is a terrible movie, but it's more entertaining than this.
Mhm.
I don't know. Do you have anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, that's all we have to say on this one. It was kind of a hard sit, not very good at all. I don't recommend it in the slightest. Um, What's your thing on it?
No, I don't recommend it either. I
Yeah,
mean, it was a little thing.
yeah. And again, none of the little things in the movies mattered.
Yes.
So at least make better. Well, that's it. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe, and check us out in our next video. Bye.
Bye.